Get strong.
Oh hey! Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today is going to be my deck profile of Totentanz Swarm Piper. I don't really know how you say that, his name. Hopefully you guys can, because I cannot. I've had this deck idea for a while. Also, I think I need to apologize for the lack of uploads last week. I didn't really have a video to do. I was still trying to figure out this deck, so apologies for that. Hopefully it doesn't happen. That might happen again. I don't know. I am actually working on more rat builds because I quite like playing rats. I think I prefer playing mono black rats, to be perfectly honest. But if you want like a wacky kind of fun little casual red black deck, Swarm Piper is pretty decent. I have had games where the deck has done nothing, but I also have had games where the deck has done pretty good. So I think we should just get straight to the deck. Obviously we have the Swarm Piper himself. He is a free mana guy, one color, so black and a red. Whenever he or another non-token creature you control dies, you create a 1 black rat with this creature can't block. A lot of the rat tokens in this deck they can't block, so they're usually just there to like summon, doing like activation triggers or just to attack pretty much. You can also pay a card and a black to attacking rats you control against Death Touch. So that's something. I haven't really done that because I haven't really had a huge rat. I have seen people play the rat colony build. If you guys don't know or haven't seen my last rat, it's this card where you can have as many as you want in the deck. So we'll move on to the creatures themselves. So we have a Tangled Colony, which it can't block, but when it dies it creates X 1 black rat creature tokens where X is the amount of damage it was dealt. So if a shock hit it for 2 damage, it creates 2 1 black rats. If something hit for 3 1 black, you get the idea. Next we have Voracious Vermin. When it enters the battlefield, it creates a 1 black rat, and whenever a creature dies, it gets a 1/1 counter. So you can start sacking off your small rats for like the bargain cards, and this guy will get really big. Next is Lord Skitter's Butcher. When it enters the battlefield, you choose one. Either create a 1 black rat, you sacrifice a token. Sorry, you sacrifice another creature if you do scry 2, draw a card, or creatures you control gain menace to the end of turn. That is pretty nice, having like being able to choose if you want a token, a draw, or menace. Lord Skitter's Butcher is really good. I do like the card a lot. And then we have Lord Skitter himself. Whenever another rat enters the battlefield on your control, you can exile a card from a graveyard. You can then at the beginning of combat, he creates a 1/1 black rat, which then triggers his effect. His exile effect isn't once per turn; it's just whenever a rat enters the battlefield. I do want to try having this as my commander again. I did it for a few games. I did really like it. It was more of an enchantment build. But I might have him as my next kind of commander, so I might see how he plays. Ashcoat of the Shadow Swarm. This card's great because if you've made a lot of 1/1 black rats that can't block, you can just smack with this and all the others, and they get really massive. Because whenever Ashcoat Shadow Swarm attacks or blocks, other rats you control gain +X to the end turn, where X is the number of rats you control. Beginning of the end step, you may mill 4 cards. If you do, return up to 2 rat creatures from your graveyard to your hand. There isn't that many rats in the deck, so you mainly not want to mill. Just the added bonus of your rats get bigger. Then we have Wave of Rats. I really like this card a lot, especially in my Maonar build. I love this card. Like, yes, it is a 4-drop, but if you want to pay the extra mana to do the blitz, it gains haste, and when it dies, you draw a card. But if it dealt damage because it has trample, you can return it to the battlefield. Really, really good. I like it a lot. It's like one of my favorite cards from Streets of Campania. For the last, like, rat creature, we have Maonar. Straightforward, all rats have fear. Tap, sack a rat, create X rat, where X is the number of rats you control. So yeah, pretty good. Oh Jesus, oh, sorry about that. I've had the sniffles all morning. That's what I get for biking in the cold the last 2 days. It sucks. So yeah, those are all the mono black rat creatures. Now we're going on to the regular mono black creatures. Of course, we're running a rat deck, so we're running Piper of the Swarm. Rat you control Menace. Pay 2, tap, create a 1/1 black rat. Pay 4, tap, sack 3 rats, gain control of target creature. Iora, first or Lockwane. Whenever she or another black creature enters the battlefield, each opponent loses a life and I gain a life. Really, really good for when I span the board with tokens. Species Specialist, so whenever my 1/1 black rats die, draw a card. It's like a staple in any like black, like tribal build-ish. Next we have an Ogre Slumlord. It's similar to my commander, except Flow gives all my rats Death Touch, and he creates a 1/1 black rat for each creature that, like, whenever a creature dies, or a non-token creature dies, create a 1/1 black rat, while my commander, just when a creature I control dies. The next two creatures are part of like a infinite combo. We have a Warehouse Tabby, which whenever the charmer you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create a 1/1 black rat, and then you can pay 2 and Warehouse Tabby gains Death Touch at the end of turn. Now, this is really good with 2 cards, one being Grim Guardian and the other being Screams from Within. But whenever Grim Guardian or another enchantment you control, when it or another enchantment enters the battlefield on you control, each opponent loses a life. So this is very important. I'll get to the combo when we get to the Screams from Within. For the last mono black, we have Twisted Sewer Witch, which enters the battlefield. You create a 1/1 black rat, and then rats you control gain a Wicked Roll token, which Wicked Rolls, this one, gives them +1/+1, and whenever this enchantment is sent to the bin, each opponent loses 1 life. So again, this will trigger, dealing X amount of damage because X Wicked Rolls into the battlefield. So that's it for the mono black creatures. We'll get now to the mono red creatures. So we are running a Tatarata. Whenever a rat you control gets blocked, it gets +2/+0 at the end of the turn. Mad Ratter, whenever you draw your second card for your turn, create 2 black rats. I am running a bunch of draw cards, so having this in the deck is really nice. Red Cap Guard, a 3/3 menace. When it enters the battlefield, you create 2 1/1 black rats. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, put a 1/1 counter. And exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. So yeah, allows you to play the top card of your library. If it's a land, great. If it's a card that you know you can cast, perfect. So it slowly gets bigger. It only gets you can only do that if it survives during your upkeep. And then we have an Ogre Chitterlord, a 6/5 menace. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you create two 1/1 black rats that can't block. Then, if you control 5 or more rats you control, get +2/+0 to the end of turn. So again, my 1/1s become 3/1s. And because I'm running a kind of like a token swarm deck, I am running a Witty Roastmaster with Alliance, so it triggers every time a creature enters my battlefield. So whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So this is where we start to see damage cards. And what goes really nice with Witty Roastmaster is the red god that came out in Last Cover of the Ixalams. So we have Deeper's Might. So Deeper's Might is a 4/4 trample. If a red source would deal an amount of non-combat damage less than his power, it deals his power instead. So say if I summoned a 1/1 black rat, we had both of these guys on board. We then summon a 1/1 black rat, then triggers Alliance, so it would deal 1, but because of this card, it will actually deal 4, because 4 is his power. And of course, if it dies, it flips to a land. It ends battlefield tapped and as a land. You can then taps for red, or you can tap 3 to flip him again, but you can only do that if an opponent has lost 4 life. Also, it's dealt 4 damage this turn. What's really cool is the only way to really deal with these is to Source of Plowshare or Path to Exile, any Exile based card, because it's hard to get rid of these permanently. If this guy is like if the gods are commanders, they're just gonna keep coming back over and over again. They are really insane. Except for the black-blue one. The black-blue one it's bum. Don't play that card. It's the only card that doesn't flip. Okay, the last mono red, we have an Anger, because we're running a lot of discard in the deck. And what's better than making tons of 1/1 black rats? 1/1 black rats that can attack the turn they get summoned. Because if it's in my bin, and as long as I control a mountain, my creatures have haste. And then we get to the last creature, being a multi-card creature. We have Blood Fist of Keld. Whenever another creature you control dies, draw a card if that was attacking. Otherwise, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So you guys can see this is a damage deck, pretty much. That's how I kind of try to build this rat, and it seems to work. It works pretty well when I get the cards on board. Now for the artifacts. Of course, we're running Commander deck, so we're running Soul Ring and an Arcane Signet. Swift Boots, because I like creatures to gain hexproof in case I don't want them to die. Pretty basic. Skull Clamp, pretty basic. I'll attach it to one of my 1/1 black rats. They die, I draw 2. And then we're running a Ruby Medallion, so my red spells cost 1 cast less. And the Jet Medallion, so my black spells cost 1 cast less. Then we're running Bontu's Monument. Black creature spells cost 1 less, and whenever I cast a black creature, whenever I cast a creature, each opponent loses a life and I gain a life. Hazardous Monument. Red creature spells cost 1 less. Whenever I cast a creature, I may discard a card, and if I do, draw a card. So again, more draws to help with the Mad Ratter. And then a Bowl of Citadel to cast the top card of my library while using my life, because I should have a good amount of life. And then for last artifact, it's a Whippoorwill Boss for the lifelink, pretty much. I don't ever use the pay for summon a guy from the bin. I don't really do that. It's mostly just there for the lifelink. Now for the instance, we have Corrupted Convergence. Sacrifice a creature, draw a card. Village Rites, sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. I'm sorry, they're both the same. They are the exact same card, they just have different names, so you can run both of them. Foul Tongue Shriek. Target opponent loses 1 life for each attacking creature you control. You gain that much life. So it's really good if I just attack with all my 1 black rats and then I play this card. I could say, you're taking 5 life or 10 life, and I'm gaining that much. And then we're running Thrill of Possibility for the draw, additional costs, discard a card, draw 2 cards. Lightning Bolt, so it deals 3 damage to any target. Again, with the god, that could be like 4 damage. Stone Splitter Bolt with Bargain. I usually, for Bargain, I just sacrifice my rat tokens. So it deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. If the spell was bargained, it deals twice X damage to target permanent instead. So I could say I pay my X is 4. I bargained. It now does 8 damage to target creature. Well, 8 damage to target permanent. We can have the spell Annoying Crescendo. That way. A creature you control get +2/+0 to the end of turn. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 black rat. So, if I had 2 non-tokens that died, I create 2 1/1 black rats. It's mostly in case there's a board wipe, I can just play this as like, okay, I'm losing guys, but then I'll gain some rats. And then we have a Chaos Warp just to put a guy back in the deck and hope they get like a sorcery instant or a land. And then we have, for the last instant, we just have a basic Terminate. Destroy target creature, can't be regenerated. For sorceries, obviously we're running like black, so we're running Demonic Tutor, Diabolic Intent, and a Diabolic Tutor just for that search for my combo pieces. Silent Blood to help withdraw. Lich King's Conquest. You sacrifice any number of artifact, enchantment, or tokens, and then return that many creature cards from my graveyard to the battlefield. So again, I can sacrifice all the rats that came in, just so I can get like that many creatures back from my bin, because a lot of my creatures are pretty good and decent on board. And then we have a Gruesome Fate, where each opponent loses 1 life for each creature I control. Then we have a Kindred Dominance. It destroys. You choose a creature type and then you destroy creatures that aren't of the chosen type. With this card, I rarely choose rats. What I would normally do is I would choose Ogre, because of Ogre Slumlord, Ogre Chitterlord, because then the Slumlord sees guys die, then I create that many 1/1 black rats. And yeah, it's just really decent. I would definitely use this in like the Maonar build, or maybe the Lord Skitter build. I would choose rats, but in this type of deck, I don't choose rats. And then for a hopefully win the game combo, this works with Ior versus Lockwayne. We have Plague of Vermin. So starting with you, each player pays an amount of life. Repeat this process until no one pays life. Each player puts a 1/1 black rat creature token into play for each 1 life he or she paid this way. So if I'm on like 30 life, each of my opponents is on like 29. Well, under 29. I pay 29 life to create 29 1/1 black rats. Iora then sees 29 1/1 black rat into the battlefield. I then gain 29 life, and each of my opponent loses 29 life. So this and first Lockwayne, could be a win. I remember first reading this card, and I just didn't understand how it worked, to be perfectly honest. I just really didn't understand. Oh, I just forgotten. There is in fact an instance where there's sorceries. I completely forgot about Infernal Grasp. Destroy target creature. Completely forgot about that card. Shows how much I know my deck. Okay. So now we get to the mono red cards. We're running a gamble so we can add a card and hopefully discard a card we don't care about in our hand. Fatal Looting. Draw 2, then discard 2, and then flashback for free. Band Blast. Destroy like all artifacts I don't control for its overload cost. We have Song of Totentanz. Again, I don't know how you say his name. I run him as a commander, and all I ever call him is Swarm Piper. But you pay, it's got X and 1 red. You create X 1 more black rat creature tokens, and then creature you control have haste. So yeah, bunch of your rats that came in have haste. So you just smack. If you want to put all your mana like X is 10, gain 10 rats to just smack or sack. The card's really good. I like it a lot. And for another card that I think it's really cool, I like it, I love the card, and I really wanted to run it in a deck. So it's perfect that Swarm Piper had red in it. It's a card that came out in the Marching Machines Commander in the Tinker Time deck. Dance with Calamity. You first shuffle your deck, and then, as many times as you like, you exile the top card of your library. If the total mana value of cards exiled this way is 13 or less, you may cast any number of spells without paying their mana costs. So I can, like, it doesn't count lands. Your lands will still stay exiled, but they also don't count for the mana value because lands don't have mana values. So you could like get like some draw cards, kill cards, artifacts, creatures. The card's really good, and only for 8 mana you can get like 13, like a worth of like 13 mana, which is really good. I think the card's great. That's why I also really like the Tinker Time Commander. Like, I like Gimbal. I was playing it Sunday, it's pretty fun. Now we get to the enchantments. Now, we're running a Lord Skitter's Blessing. When it enters the battlefield, you create a Wicked Roll token attached to target creature. At the beginning of your draw step, if you control an enchanted creature, you draw an additional card. So you can draw 2 cards in your draw step. For Exiting Arena, beginning of upkeep, draw a card, lose a life. Black Market, whenever a creature dies, put a charge counter on Black Market, and then at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you add black for each charge counter. So really good for when you sack your former black rats, or your rat tokens, because then you can get tons of black mana, which could usually cast for X for cards. Leyline of the Void, so if it's in your starting hand, you start the game with it on the battlefield. And then if a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard, or from anywhere, it gets exiled instead. Oversoul Cemetery. If I have 4 more creatures in my bin, I can add one of them to my hand. Grave Pack, so when I sack my my rat tokens, my opponents have to sack a guy too. And then we have the Screens from Within card, which I was talking about earlier with Warehouse Tabby and Grim Guardian. So the enchanted creature gets -1/-1, so you put onto a rat token, oh no, the rat token dies. This then gets put from the graveyard back into play, so you then attach it to another black rat, because this was put into a bin, so Warehouse Tabby and triggered, creating 1 more black rat, then Grim Guardian that says, oh look, an enchantment enters the battlefield, each opponent loses a life, and then yeah, it keeps happening until each opponent dies. Then you kind of win the game. Now we get to the mono reds. I only have 3 mono red enchantments. They shouldn't be a surprise. An impact trimmers, so whenever a creature enters the battlefield, each opponent loses a life. wave bombardment whenever and a creature you control power 2 or less attacks, it deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker that's attacking. And then a fiery emancipation, so this can deal like 3 damage to each opponent because it triggers 3 times. Because if a sorcery control would deal damage to a opponent or player, it deals triple that much damage to that opponent or player instead. So the idea, obviously, is just to gain swarm the board with guys, Impetramus trigger, Fire Emancipation trigger, and the God then triggers to dealing 4 damage to each opponent 3 times. So 12 damage every time a guy dies, which is really good. As always, I'll put a link in the description to the deck profile architect for you guys. Now we're going to lands. We're running a command deck, so we're running a command tower. 4 Burrowing Winds enters battlefield untapped. You can reveal a mountain or a swamp. Smoldering Marsh comes in untapped if you control 2 or more basic lands. Dragon Skull Summit comes in tapped unless you control a mountain or swamp. Luxury Suite comes in untapped unless you control 2 or more opponents. Sulphurous Springs, it taps 4 colors, or you can have it tap for black or red, and if you do, it deals damage to you. Blood Crypt, because it's a land that you can have come in untapped, it taps for red or black just by losing 2 life. Jabuka Bog, it's about for tap, but it exiles opponent's graveyard. Abandoned Mire with Channel. Discard this card, mill 3 cards, and return a creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand, and obviously it costs 1 card less for each legendary creature you control. We have a Linkry Tower to help with hand size. For sack lands, we're running a Rocky Tar Pit. It comes in tap, but you can tap it to search your library for swamp or mountain and put it into the battlefield, so you can also search for Blood Crypt using it, which is pretty nice. Evolving Wilds, and a Terramorphic Expanse. So that's it for the regular lands, and then we get to like the all the basics, which we're running 3, 6, 9, 11 swamps. We're running 11 swamps and 3, 6, 9, 11 swamps, 10 swamps. No. Yeah, 11 swamps, 10 mountains, because you're running a lot more black cards than you are red cards. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck. I do find this deck, like, it's better as a casual play. You can't make this competitive. The guy's not that good. For casual play, this guy's really nice. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed my Swarm Piper Commander deck profile. I do have another video planned for this week, so stay tuned for that. And as always, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and hopefully I see you. I see you. I'm not streaming. Yeah. I usually say every time I end the stream. I got that into that so casually. I keep thinking I'm streaming now, but no, creating a video. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.